awards here in the annual WRHU award ceremony. Normally these award ceremonies are done at the banquet. We haven't had a banquet this year, again, due to COVID, so we're doing it virtually. But today we're talking about an award given to the person that best exemplifies one of the most important persons in the history of Radio Hofstra University. The Broadcaster of the Year is more than the best air talent or the best producer or the best public relations person or the best all around. Broadcasters had a long history of being tremendous community servants, citizens of the areas to which they were licensed. And so the Broadcaster of the Year was a person that was glue not only inside of the station, but with the station in the community. And as we gave this award out over the years, sometimes there was one person, sometimes there was two persons getting this award. But as we went through it, it became clear to me that the award itself was signified by a person that was a longtime colleague who was one of the finest human beings I've ever known, and also one of the finest broadcasters I've ever known. It was a true joy for over 2 decades to be working side by side with Mr. Ed Engels. And so about 8-9 years ago, we renamed the Broadcaster of the Year into the Ed Engels Broadcaster of the Year, because he signified exactly what this particular award is all about. In the past year, in March of 2020, Ed passed away. And he has been involved in all of these Broadcasters of the Year and knew most of the folks. And this may be the last year that he actually knew some of the folks that are going to be talked about in this particular opportunity. I'm sure he will be very, very happy. And I know that he would agree with what we have done. Now, what we have done here is that the year 2021 for WRHU, as it was for many other industries, but we'll stay with the station, was extraordinary. In 2 weeks, we went from a studio-based radio station to a multidiscipline, distance connectivity, point-to-multiple point, audio-only entertainment and information arena. And that meant that folks were doing what we're doing here, StreamYarding and Zooming and doing other forms of connection to get into the station. And some of it went out by a transmitter, some of it went out via social media. But we kept WRHU fresh and vibrant and growing during the toughest of times. And as important as that, and maybe more important than that, we kept serving the community with programming that was wanted and needed during a time of a pandemic. And so it took tremendous leadership and talent to be able to do this. And so not only that Broadcaster of the Year represents being a citizen, we actually demonstrated citizenship here. And so we had a huge staff, and we went around and around and around to just try to decide who was the person that most exemplified this. And the person that most exemplified what the Broadcaster of the Year means is Eli Finkelstein.
Oh my God, I'm going to start crying. Okay. I did not write anything because when I called Bruce to interrogate him about which award I would be getting, he did not let anything on because he said he wanted my reaction to be genuine. And boy, oh boy, could he have not been more right, as usual. I could not even begin to tell you what this award means to me, not only because of who I, saw and valued in Ed Engels and, who I hope to become that is, loosely inspired by him, right? His drive, his passion, his determination to put an emphasis on giving people chances and mentorship and leadership. I think those things are, by and large, by far, what I put emphasis on, not just WRHU, not just in my time here, but in life, I think. And that's something that I plan to always carry with me. So not only am I so honored to be carrying on the legacy of his award, but Broadcaster of the Year in WRHU history has always been the goal. That is what everybody shoots for. That is the award that everybody talks about, that everybody knows. And I cannot even begin to tell you how honored I am that that person is me. There are so many people that helped me that I am inspired by, that I worked with along the way. The 2020 executive board is my everyday inspiration still. Grant, Katie, Natalie, those three people, I mean, the four of us together were the most unstoppable team I have ever seen. WRHU has been my home. It's been where I have grown and shown progress and failed and learned. It's where I've made some of my greatest friends and greatest mentors. I truly could not feel more blessed right now to have received this award.
During the time frame that we were working together after being a Marconi award-winning radio station into working in a presidential year to take the station and do community service, that we ran into COVID. One of the greatest things that you did was that you helped mold a team. The results are the results, which turned into being named by the Radio Academy as the award winner of the station on World Radio Day. And most of that happened on your watch as the chair of the executive board. And Ed Engels would have loved what we're about to do. We are actually naming you as the broadcaster of the year, but you're being joined by your three other executive board peers as the broadcasters of the year with an S, because you helped lead, but the other three people in their own way were extraordinary. And your executive board team, during the toughest of time frames, the whole was greater than the sum of the parts. And all WRHU, Radio Hofstra University, the School of Communication, and me personally can say to you is thank you for helping this happen, because we definitely would not have been where we are without your leadership and also your colleagues and putting together a team. So we're now about to honor other broadcasters of the year as a part of the executive board team for 2021. And Ed would have loved this, because he was all about creating team and serving the world as a broadcaster, making the world a better place. And you all did this. So the next person that we're honoring here is...
The next person is Kate Egan. So Kate, you're already there. That's why.
And by the way, just for the record, Katie didn't have a vote in this.
Well, Kate, you were a wonderful music director. You have evolved into an outstanding station manager, and we're very proud to have you be a part of the team. You're level-headed, you're dependable, and you're approachable by students. You're a wonderful mentor, and we're just so happy to have you here and so proud of you.
And I'll add one more word to that, Katie. You have taken on, like Eli did, areas of the station that, in confidence as we spoke, needed to be addressed. Eli showed leadership in areas such as marketing. We needed to improve the marketing and the relationship and the mentoring. We needed to work on that. Those were areas that Eli and I took on, along with some others, privately. You knew that we wanted to make sure that the music arena understood that about 60% of the station's programming is music-based. And as music director, you led a continued resurgence of people participating in, and also excellence, and the fact that having people know that we love the music portion of our station, and you have continued that as station manager.
Oh, well, thank you so much for this award. I want to thank John, Bruce, Pete, Sarah, Andy, and of course my two mentors, Drew McLaughlin, the former music director here, and Eli Finkelson, of course, our former station manager. As Eli mentioned, this is the award that everyone dreams of getting once they come to WRHU. I've seen my previous mentors receive this award. And like I mentioned in Eli's speech, I think it's an award that judges not just on your on-air ability, but also off-air as well. And something I've learned through WRHU, which I consider the most valuable, is leadership. And it's something that I believe that I have been able to work on at WRHU. And it has just been such an incredible opportunity to hone in on that skill at WRHU. I've loved mentoring students. I've loved working one-on-one with students, and I'm just so incredibly honored to be recognized as one of the Broadcasters of the Year. So thank you so much.
The next Broadcasters of the Year award winner is Natalie Kate.
So Natalie was an incredibly important person during the COVID pandemic. And the reason is that Natalie serves as our personnel director, and the personnel director is literally the heart of the radio station. Everything leads to the personnel director, the slot schedule, the training class, making sure that all the exams are graded, filling emergency slots, finding community volunteer helpers and things like that. So we could not have had a better personnel director during the pandemic than Natalie. She's organized, enthusiastic. She gets the job done, and she hits broadcast deadlines. So we're very happy to give her this award.
It's incredibly important to have a person that I call a glue person, a person that allows other people to be to do their thing and to be part of the group, and also to reach their full potential. And as John said, you were in contact with the entire staff as personnel director during a time where we had been an entirely studio-based arena, and that went to being, in many cases, not only not in the studio, but in some cases not in the country. Your effervescence and your intelligence just made this place and the whole situation so much nicer, and it also worked. And so in terms of your corporate toolbox going forward in your professional life, is that please understand that that's meant as a very, very strong professional compliment, because it's a rare but incredibly needed skill set.
Thank you guys so much. I can't thank Bruce, John, Pete, and Sarah enough for this. WRHU, honestly, to me, is such a special place. It's kind of the one thing that kept me at Hofstra and kept me from not leaving. It's given me so many just opportunities and experiences that I never thought I'd get in my undergrad career. And obviously, we say it all the time, 2020 was filled with so many unexpected situations, but it taught me so much more just about being a leader, and made me fall in love with the station and the industry so much more. What we were able to do in 2020, we had a summer training class that was fully remote. We had our fall 2020 training class was also fully remote, and so many of those kids coming out of that class and those trainees are now in leadership positions, and that would not be possible without you guys and all your help and the rest of the 2020 executive board. So thank you guys again so much. My Hofstra experience would not be possible without all of you guys and without WRHU. So being able to win the Ed Ingles Broadcasters of the Year award just is such an honor.
The last person clearly as the executive board, and certainly not last in terms of the amount of work and accomplishment, is Grant Francis.
Grant is an important person for a number of reasons at the station. He has been an exceptional program director of talk at the station. He has been a stellar Islanders lead producer. He creates packages at a very high level and inspires others by his high degree of work. He's also one of the nicest human beings at the station, gets along with everybody. It's very collaborative and pleasant to be around, hits broadcast deadlines with high quality content. So we're very proud to present you with this wonderful award, Grant.
Eli really hit the nail on the head when she said that that team that was put together was pretty unstoppable. I am so glad I had the chance to work with everybody that year through what a year that was. But it was excellent to be able to work with those people through that. And if I was able to go back to the training class and think about all the stuff that, now I've been able to accomplish through WRHU, I wouldn't have even dreamt of half of it. Going and covering the 2020 NHL All-Star Game, interviewing Mike Emmerich. Thank you, Pete. all the way to finishing out my year as lead producer for the Islanders and turning that into an internship with the Islanders. That wouldn't have happened without WRHU. And, unfortunately, my freshman year, that was when Ed started to not be around as much, and I didn't have the chance to really get to know him as much as winners in the past have. But just knowing how he touched people and had an effect on people, it means a lot to be a part of the top tier of people who achieved this award. And knowing the people in the past who have won, it's just to be in the same talks as them it's very humbling. So I really appreciate everybody on this call, and everything I've had the chance to do at WRHU.
I wanted to congratulate you, Grant. You mentioned Doc Emmerich, and I always ask for critique from the people we interview, and what he said about you was great questions and a really nice young man. And I can attest to that. Also, Grant put together all the shows. He was responsible for getting the shows on the air. The producers would produce the shows, they would edit them, but they'd send them to Grant, and if they weren't the proper time, Grant would fix them, and he made sure that they got on the air. So, Grant, I congratulate you. You got a job in hockey, and that's great. I'm sorry about your Blues not repeating, but maybe this year. And you're just a great guy, and I know you're going to have a lot of success in this field.
The Ed Engels Broadcaster and Broadcasters of the Year, folks that have had incredibly successful careers at the station, and in most cases are now not only exiting the station, but are out working in the professional world at a very high level, although Katie is still here working with us at WRHU at a very high level. This is truly something that I'm grateful for, and I know that Margaret Engels, Ed's wife, will be happy with what we have accomplished here, and will also reflect and say thank you. But thank you for all you've done, and thank you for helping WRHU move forward and still flourish under the toughest of times, as is the history not only of the station over 6 decades, but radio in general. And so you have embodied what radio is all about, and this ends the awards ceremonies for calendar year 2021. And I've got to say one last thing. You have set the bar incredibly high for the next generations of participants at WRHU. And I could not be happier than to say that, because if they come in here and do 3/4 of as much as you folks have done, just ask the people who are rookies of the year. They've seen and experienced what you've done, and they know that they really have to bring it in order to make the station function at the level that it is functioning and can function in ways we've never even considered. So thank you to all of the people that have participated in this, Pete and John and Katie and Andy and I'm not going to thank myself, but this is one of my real joys of the year, is to go through this. And it's not easy to give out these awards because there are literally dozens of people that we have to talk about there for all the different ones. But thank you for the folks that are listening to this, and thank you for everybody who has participated to and listened to Radio Hofstra University over the years. I'm General Manager Bruce Avery, and that's it for this particular award season of 2021.